Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Fitri Rahmi and I'm from Group 3. My group's member are myself, Mutia Sandra Dipasa, Nanda Arif Ar-Rashid, and Nur Khalid Kodrat. My group got a discussion about the interpretation of Surah Al-Alaq and also the interpretation of Hadith Al-Jumu'ah. And the interpretation of Surah Al-Alaq will be explained by myself and Mutia Sandra Dipasa. Definition of Tafsir Al-Misbah. Tafsir Al-Misbah in terms of language mean lamp or lantern. This indicates that the meaning of life and the various problems faced by humans are all illuminated by the light of Al-Quran. And it is also hoped that the interpretation of Al-Misbah can be lamp of light for anyone who read it. And the author also hoped that in the future the Al-Quran can be increasingly recognized and its content will be increasingly understood by readers. There are three reasons why the interpretation of the Al-Misbah is written. Provide easy step for Muslims in understanding the content of the verse of Al-Quran by explaining in detail what message is explained by Al-Quran, as well as explaining them relate to the development of human life. Sometimes there are still Muslims who understand the contents of Al-Quran. For example, the tradition of reading Surah Yasin, which is read many times but does not understand what they are reading over and over again. From this fact, it is necessary to explain the message of Al-Quran in more detail and depth. The mistake of academics who do not understand scientific matters about the science of Al-Quran, many of them do not understand the systematic of reading the Al-Quran, which actually has a very touching educational aspect. First, Iqra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. This first verse contains an ontological message about the source of knowledge. In that verse, Allah Almighty told the Prophet Muhammad SAW to read, whereas what is read is various object that is in the form of the written verse of Allah as the letter Al-Alaq itself, and there are also the unwritten verse of Allah as found in the universe with all the laws of causality that are in it, and in the human self. This verse, if read in the sense of being studied, observed, identified, categorized, compared, analyzed, and it is concluded to be able to produce knowledge. Selain itu, kata Al-Iqra dalam surah Al-Alaq diartikan dengan membaca. Diartikan dengan membaca atau menghimpun, dan makna bismi dalam penafsirannya tidak jauh. Hal tersebut menunjukkan adanya kolerasi dalam penafsirannya. Maka dalam konteks apapun harus dibaca beserta nama Tuhanmu. Sedangkan kata khalaqa itu dimaknai dengan menciptakan dari tiada dan menciptakan tanpa satu. Sebagai beberapa contohnya adalah mengukur, memperhalus, mengatur, dan membuat. Kata ini dalam penafsiran Quraisy Shihab menggambarkan tentang kehebatan serta kebesaran Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Dengan demikian, jika disesuaikan dengan pendidikan Islam, maka dengan Al-Quran menegaskan pentingnya tanggung jawab intelektual dalam berbagai macam kegiatan dengan membaca, belajar bukan hanya sebatas membaca, tetapi belajar juga pada prinsipnya mampu menginternalisasikan nilai tauhid dan mengajarkan pada sebuah kebenaran. The second is khalaqal insana min 'alaq. Allah's power has been shown when giving the ability to read to the Prophet Muhammad SAW, even though he has never learned to read. Thus, this verse provide information about the importance for understanding the origin and process of human. The origin and process of human occurrence with all the potential that exists in him. Dalam ayat ini dimaksudkan untuk memperkenalkan Tuhan yang disembah oleh Nabi Muhammad SAW. Pada ayat ini diberitahukan kepada umat muslim untuk selalu membaca dan menyebut nama Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Sedangkan kata alaq secara umum diartikan bahwa tentang sifat manusia sebagai makhluk sosial yang tidak dapat hidup sendiri, tetapi selalu bergantung kepada takdir Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Dan di ayat ini juga dijelaskan bahwa manusia itu adalah ciptaan paling istimewa dari ciptaan Allah Subhanahu wa taala yang lain. Dalam menanamkan sikap ketuhanan, dalam pembelajaran ada beberapa aspek yang perlu diketahui, yaitu yang pertama adalah semua ciptaan ini memiliki tujuan. Yang kedua adalah prinsip kesatuan baik alam manusia maupun kehidupan alam sebagai ciptaan Tuhan sendiri. Alright, that's all about my presentation. The next ayat will be explained by Mutia Sandra Dipasa. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Mutia Sandra Dipasa and I'm gonna continue Fitri Rahmi explanation before. So Fitri Rahmi has explained till the second verse, so I'll continue the third verse till the fifth verse. Here we go. So we know that the third verse sounds like Iqra wa rabbukal akram. So according to Al-Misbah, so we talk about Al-Misbah in this discussion, we talk about Tafsir Al-Misbah. According to Al-Misbah, that the repetition of the word Iqra in this verse is based on the reason that reading won't be imprinted on the soul except by repeating it and getting used to it, as it applies in tradition. Allah's command in this verse to repeat reading means also repeating what is read. So in this way, reading belongs to the person who reads it. In Indonesia, this verse meant bacalah karena menyebut nama Tuhanmu yang maha mulia. So read it. Please read it again. Repeat reading it. And thus this verse is closely related to the method of education, as is found in the method, in the Iqra method, in the process of learning to read the Quran. So because of that, ayat itu mempunyai korelasi dengan ayat sesudahnya, yang dimana after we read it, we have a motivate yang berlandaskan because of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And if we look to the potential way, kalau misalnya kita lihat lebih jauh secara potensial, jadi since we were born, kita tuh udah dikasih ability yang memungkinkan kita untuk bisa membaca. Jadi ketika kita sudah membaca, ya pasti bisa menghasilkan suatu ilmu pengetahuan atau suatu pemikiran yang baru atau suatu pemikiran di dalam diri kita. And then we talk about the fourth and fifth verse of Al-Alaq, that is Allazi 'allama bil qalam 'allamal insana ma lam ya'lam. So as we know in Indonesia, we can say that mengajar manusia dengan pena, mengajar apa yang tidak diketahuinya. The last two verse contain an explanation of the need for tools in carrying out activities, as well as the kalam needed for the development and maintenance of science. Jadi kata kalam di sini itu hasil dari penggunaan alat tersebut. Kalam in this verse is not limited to the meaning of a writing instrument that is widely used by students in traditional education institution. Because we are in the modern era, we also include various tools that can store various information, access and channel quickly, precisely, and accurately, as well as computers, internet, fax, microfilm, video compact disc, and so on. So because we are in a modern era, so we use that, not only a pen, not only a pencil. Jadi kata kalam di sini itu berarti hasil dari penggunaan alat tersebut. Jadi secara singkat, Muhammad Quraisy Shihab itu menunjukkan pada cara yang ditempuh dalam mengajar manusia, dan yang kedua melalui pengajaran secara langsung tanpa alat. So, pena al-kalam itu bisa mengandung arti lebih ke fungsi untuk mendokumentasikan hasil pengetahuan dari membaca. Jadi kan at the first and the third verse before, kita udah tahu we have to read, and then in this verse we talk about the kalam, pengetahuan dari membaca. Dengan adanya pena, capaian pengetahuan dapat ditransmisikan dan ditransformasikan from one generation to the next generation, from one place to the other place. The conclusion is the content of Al-Alaq verse 1 till 5 is in order to read. What is meant here is not only about reading but also about studying, analyzing, interpreting, and etc. And after this, we will go to the next explanation from Nanda and Nurholid.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nanda Arif Arashid, and here I will continue the explanation from my friend Mutia. So now I will explain to you about Surah Al-Jumu'ah verse 2. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Huwallazi ba'atha fil ummiyina rasulam minhum yatslu 'alaihim ayatih wa yuzakkihim wa yu'allimuhumul kitaba wal hikmah wa in kanu min qablu lafi dhalalim mubin. The meaning is, He is the one who sent for the illiterate people a messenger from among themselves, reciting to them his revelation, purifying them and teaching them the book and wisdom. For indeed they had previously been clearly astray. So in this ayah, Allah tell us that He sent a messenger. In this case is our Prophet Muhammad. So Allah sent Muhammad to illiterate people, Jahiliyah people. Allah sent Muhammad to Jahiliyah people to teach them the book and wisdom, the Al-Quran and Sunnah, to reciting them his revelation, to tell them the belief and purifying them, and to purify them to bring the Jahiliyah people to the right path. As you know, Jahiliyah people before Muhammad come, they have been clearly astray or they have lost. They don't know the right path is. So Allah sent Muhammad for them to teach them and bring them to the Jannah or the right path. And in Tafsir Jalalain, it is He who sent to the illiterate, namely the Arabs, who is Jahiliyah, as I previously said. Ummi pronunciation means a person who cannot write and read a book, an opposite among them, namely the Prophet Muhammad, who reads to them his verses, namely the Quran, and cleanse them from the polytheism and teach them the book of the Quran and wisdom, namely the laws contained in it or hadith. And actually the pronunciation in here is the takhfif from the inna, while the isim is not fully stated, and indeed they were before the arrival of the Prophet Muhammad. The meaning is clearly heresy. And in Quraish Shihab's tafsir, Quraish Shihab is ulama, so he made tafsir. He said that it is Allah who has sent to the Arabs who do not know the reading and writing of an apostle from among themselves. The messenger recite his verses to them, purified them from bad belief and behavior, and taught them the Quran and understanding the religion before the coming of the apostle. They were in real error. So as we can see in both tafsir, we can conclude that Allah sent Muhammad to the Jahiliyah people, to the Arab people, a messenger from their own people, who cannot read and cannot write. So Allah sent a messenger to teach them Al-Quran and Al-Sunnah, so they understand the religion that the messenger bring to them. And also Allah sent the messenger to purify the mistake and erase the bad behavior that were in Jahiliyah people. Maybe that's all from me, and I will end it now. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Khalid Kodrat. Well, I will continue what Nana said. Next are two hadiths about the Prophet Muhammad SAW as a prototype of education. From Abdullah bin Amru, narrating that one day Rasulullah SAW entered the mosque. Inside the mosque, there were two groups of friends gathered. The first group is reading the Quran and praying, while the second group is doing teaching and learning activities. Seeing this beautiful sign, the Prophet Muhammad SAW said, in the narration of At-Tayalisi, it is stated that the Prophet said, "Wa innama bu'itsu mu'alliman wa hadza afdal." It means actually I was sent as a teacher, and this is more important. So the Prophet Muhammad SAW sat down and chose a group that was learning to teach. And the second hadith, the Prophet Muhammad SAW said, Allah did not send me as a rigid and taught person, but sent me as an educator or teacher, and made it easier. Narrated by Muslim. From this hadith, it can be understood that the Prophet Muhammad SAW prioritized learning activities or knowledge. Dari hadis tersebut dapat diketahui bahwa Nabi Muhammad SAW adalah contoh tauladan sebagai guru yang baik dan sangat mengutamakan ilmu pengetahuan. Dan terkadang Nabi Muhammad sering memanggil dirinya sendiri seorang guru. Dan Nabi Muhammad adalah contoh guru terbaik yang ada sampai saat ini. Karena kan profesi guru sangat penting, maka tidak sembarang orang yang bisa menjadi guru. Karena aktivitas guru sangat berkaitan dengan ilmu sains dan sebagainya. And teacher are very important in matter of science. Well, maybe this is all can I say. More and less, I apologize. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.